Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Warning, having more money doesn't mean you'll worry less about it.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the WorryFree Retirement, with your host, five-time author and fiduciary, the money missionary himself, Tony Walker.
Welcome to the WorryFree Retirement. I am Tony Walker, and for about the next 28 minutes or so, I'm going to take you on a journey specifically designed to help savers worry less about money. With us in the studio, as always, is America's favorite financial sidekick, helping produce the show, Mr. Aaron Orander. By the way, we appreciate your comments. In fact, Aaron told me the other day he was at church and a young man came up to him and said, "Aaron, you know what? I really like watching that WorryFree Retirement show. Kind of feel like I'm at a fireside chat with Tony." So I said, well, I'll take that as a compliment. But we really do appreciate your comments. And don't forget, we have a brand new website at TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and there's a place on there where it simply says Ask Tony. So if you'd like to send us a question, have a question for me or for the show, obviously, we welcome going to the website at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Well, the great theologian Charles Spurgeon was once noted as saying the following: "Those who have money worry with it, those who have none worry without it." And you might say, well, Tony, do you think that statement's true? I mean, Tony, you actually work in the financial trenches, and all you do is advise people on money. And we have assumed, right, Tony, that having more money means that you'll worry less about it. And I would have to say, as the author and creator of the WorryFree Retirement, I kind of agree with Spurgeon. The more I'm around, the more I watch people, the more I even watch myself, I really do believe that sometimes actually having more money creates more worry. I believe this is true. And in fact, let's take a recent lottery winner. I know you've heard about this. This was a hospital worker who won the Powerball. Her prize, $758 million. Now look at this headline. It says, hospital worker won Powerball, her prize $758 million. Look at the rest of this quote. And police outside her house. Her name is Mavis Wanzik. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that last name. I love the first name, Mavis. And she's from Massachusetts. She won the second largest lottery in U.S. history. This is according to Reuters. Now, Mavis just had a life-changing event. Mavis tossed a few dollars at a Powerball ticket, I'm sure not really thinking she would win, and literally, in the flash of a light bulb, she goes from this humble little lifestyle of working in a hospital to one of the richest people in the country, literally overnight. And that's the first life-changing response that she's had, and probably realizing that it's changed because she looks outside and there's a bunch of police. I don't know if they're guarding the place. I don't know if they're wanting a donation to the Fraternal Order of Police. I don't know what's going on, but the point is, it's proof that this is the most life-changing event she's ever had, getting all of this money. By the way, the next time you hear, I like to call them financial clowns, the next time you hear a financial clown telling you how much they hate annuities, keep in mind that a lottery is really structured as an annuity payment. Because going back to Mavis's $750 million or whatever, that's $750 million if she had elected to take what's called an annuity over a period of time. Now what Mavis wanted to do was not take the annuity, which again is usually over a 20-year period of time, but she said, no, I'll take the lump sum. Many of you are faced with this now. When you get ready to retire, you might have a pension, and the pension says, do you want this lump sum or do you want us to annuitize this? By the way, we can help with this type of thing. We work with annuities, pensions, calculating distributions, all of that to try to help you make that decision. So if you're sitting there right now and going, well, I didn't win the lottery like Mavis, but in a way I got the lottery. It's called my pension. I don't know what to do with this darn thing. We can help you. But anyway, going back to this idea of Mavis, she did not take the annuity installment, but instead elected to take the lump sum installment, the $480 million. You might be saying, Tony, how do they calculate that? Well, because she didn't take it as an installment, she didn't get the $758. The installment would have equaled 20 years at interest. That's called the future value, present value calculation. So they backed into that. Those of you that like math understand what I'm talking about. They backed into that and said, Mavis, if you want it lump sum, it's $480 million, leaving her after taxes, remember the government gets their fair share of this deal, $336 million. Still, I think we could all agree that is a lot of money after tax. So here's the question, getting back to the point of our show today. Now that poor old Mavis has become rich old Mavis, is she ever going to have to worry about money again? Think about it. What about you? You're sitting here watching this TV show right now, and let's just say you got ready to pocket $336 million after taxes. What would you do with it? How are you going to spend it? Are you going to take a bunch of trips? Are you going to invest it? Do you really even understand how much $336 million is? And what about when you die? Did you realize it's all subject to estate taxes? So now, if Mavis were to die overnight, the 336, the government takes another 50% of that. Okay, I bet you didn't know that. And what about all these newfound friends and family that are probably going to be crawling out of the woodwork at Mavis's house? Maybe that's why she's got the police, to keep some of these family members away from the house. Just dealing with all of the family members. Before we went on, Aaron was talking about that. He was reading a sad story about someone in Kentucky who had won the lottery years ago and died broke, basically, was penniless, okay? So certainly, let's be honest here, while the $336 million will certainly eliminate a lot of money worries that maybe Mavis was worried about originally, you know, am I going to have enough to retire? Can I have some money for a vacation? All those kind of questions have been answered. No, she's fine on that deal, but what's happening now is Mavis is been dealt a hand of a whole nother set of worries that she's now going to have to be aware of. Now last week, I don't know if you watched the show last week, I used a funnel to help you understand marketing. So think about this. This has kind of happened to Mavis. The funnel approach for marketing was from her own lottery, from the state and then the Powerball. And the Powerball and the state lottery in Kentucky, it's always, hey, somebody's going to win, might as well be you. It's life-changing, right? To throw a couple bucks in. So in other words, all this money goes into the funnel. Millions and millions of people invest their $2 or $4 or $6. And again, from a sales standpoint, you bought into it, so most people don't win money. But in this case, Mavis was the winner. So I was talking about marketing, sales, and service last week. Well, when we come back, I want to talk about this fact that the financial world is kind of what Mavis is focused on. The financial world is always telling you that if only you had more money, if only you could have more money in your 401k, if only you would be willing to take a little more risk and earn a higher return, since you don't have enough money anyway. That's what they're really telling you. They're telling you that playing it safe is not the way to go. That's what most people say. The fellow on the TV, it's always bashing annuities. That's basically what he's saying. What we're saying is the opposite. If you're a saver, what we're saying is maybe it's not good to have all of this money at once. Maybe it's not good to take all this risk, but maybe it's better to kind of remember the old adage that slow and steady wins the race. That by pouring money into a funnel on a systematic basis and then letting the funnel work for you, you're going to see this in a minute, great illustration. In fact, as we see here, look at these little trinkets over here. I've got 2 cups, a large cup, and then I've also got a funnel. I'm going to show you when we come back in this next segment how the funnel of your life, the financial funnel you have now, whether it's large or small, that with the Worry-Free Retirement, we can show you how to maximize that funnel and be worry-free. This is going to be an interesting episode coming back. Let me get all set up. We'll be right back in just a second. Did you realize that Wall Street and your advisor could be making hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year to manage your money? There's no reason to remain in the dark about fees. Take advantage of our free fee analysis today and learn more about our new investment management platform using Charles Schwab as our custodian. To learn more or to find out what the fees are on your investments, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
I want to retire and do the things that I enjoy. but I don't want to run out of money either. I've talked to some advisors, but I don't feel like I have a game plan. I wish there was someone out there that specialized in making this simple.
Over the past 30 years, I've helped thousands of people be worry-free by creating a financial game plan that provides mailbox money for life. I'm Tony Walker, and I can help you too.
Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. We've got an interesting demonstration about funnels and money coming up. I'll try to make some sense out of this. But first, let me toot our own horn a little bit. This is my 5th publication. This is called Mailbox Money for Life. Great little booklet. We're getting rave reviews from people who've read this. This is absolutely free. All you got to do is go to our website, our brand new website at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Scroll down and click on the icon. You'll see the gentleman on the cover here, Mailbox Money for Life. Order that booklet today, and we're going to show you how slow and steady wins the race. And just like my granddad who enjoyed his Mailbox Money for Life, you too can enjoy Mailbox Money for Life. If you're a saver, you got to get this booklet. By the way, we had a lot of workshops here in Bowling Green and Louisville recently. There's a little bit of B-roll as we talked to some folks recently. We had a female workshop, single female workshop. We had Retirement 101, had great attendance, and people just love this little booklet. But let me make sure I'm clear on something. We do have a lot of workshops. In fact, we're going to have a Mailbox Money for Life workshop coming up later this year in both Bowling Green and Louisville. You got to check that out. But you do not have to come to a workshop to meet with me in person. I probably haven't made this clear. So if you're sitting there saying, Tony, I've got a pressing need. I'm getting ready to retire. I'm tired of money languishing in the bank. I just received an inheritance. I want to set up an account for my grandchild. I understand you all don't have minimum accounts like most of these people out here. I need to meet with you right away or talk to you right away. It's really easy to get started. You just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. You're going to click on the Let's Get Started button, and we'll take action from there. So again, no, you don't have to attend a workshop to meet with me. And as always, there's no cost or obligation to do so. All right, enough of that. Last week on our show, we talked about the difference between marketing, sales, and service, and how the financial world tends to take a funnel approach to getting their message out there. Remember, that's the marketing message. It gets tossed out to thousands, if not millions of people. Remember the lottery. Millions of people continued to hear about this. And in fact, the news media propelled it because they gave free advertising to the lottery, right? Because it was newsworthy. So everybody, marketing-wise, throws out their pitch. They're hoping that it catches people's attention, right? I always kid around, this is a show for information, but it's also marketing. We hope that we're saying something that resonates with you, so you would then make the decision, right? You're now in the funnel, so to speak. Make the decision to want to meet. That's called the sales process of things. You're looking at products and services, but then finally, through that funnel where most of the things fall apart is where most advisors are not very good at service. In fact, if you start asking them about their service, they really can't quantify it at all. They just simply say, yeah, we'll be there to help you. Well, that's not retirement planning. This just begins when you buy a product. The service, that's the figuring out taxes, helping with minimum distributions, all of the things that we do in our office and our full service staff is there to help you with. That's the big rub. And unfortunately, most people can market and sell, but very few advisors understand how to service retirement planning accounts like we do. In fact, we have actually done over 1,000 income plans since I've been doing this. We can document that. That is a lot of income plans. I was telling Aaron the other day when we went on, we were trying to make an analogy about this. I said it would kind of be like somebody realizes they have heart issues. They can either go to a general practitioner that kind of piddles around and talks about hearts, or they can go to a heart specialist that's done thousands of these. That's what we do. This is all we do. So if you are retired or nearing retirement, you owe it to yourself to get a second opinion for us before you do anything, all right? We encourage you to do that again at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Just click on that Let's Get Started. All right, so let's give an example of this before I do my little demonstration with the funnel here. Again, some people would say that you've got to invest your money. You've got to risk your money. Why would you like annuities, for instance? That doesn't even make sense, right? The one person the other day on TV that hates annuities said he would rather go to HE-double hockey sticks than sell an annuity. And I'm thinking, I don't know about that. I think I'd rather have an annuity than take my chances there. So anyway, so what is an annuity? An annuity is a guaranteed amount of money that you can use to enjoy for the rest of your life without the fear of running out of it. That's really all an annuity is. So for savers, this is a great, great tool. So let's kind of imagine what I'm going to do here. We're going to take this experiment. I'm going to imagine here, let's pull this over here, Aaron. All right, and this is our little funnel presentation. So what we have, I've got a small cup of water in a Tony Walker Financial cup. Isn't that cool? All right. Doesn't have coffee in here. I'm going to get me some coffee in a minute. You hang in there. And an empty cup. All right. So the idea is, I'm going to move this big blue cup full of water out of the way. I'm going to show you that in a minute. So the purpose of a funnel, this is a tool. The purpose of a funnel is to make the task I'm getting ready to perform easier. It's to make things less messy. It's to make things more simple. And actually, in the end, it's much more efficient for me trying to pour this amount of water in over time. I would rather pour it in the funnel, okay? So no matter how quickly I dump this water in the funnel, it's made so it funnels down and I get a steady stream of water, all right? So we're going to try to do this. Here we go. I'm going to pour this in, and let's watch how the funnel takes it, and it goes right through. Look at that. Pretty cool, wasn't it? Did not spill a drop. I didn't get, there's a couple of splashes here, nothing on the paper towel. So all this money went in here, but actually the funnel took that money and spread it out over time. Not messy, nothing, okay? Over time, though, what happens is you're constantly pouring money into the funnel. You go to work, right? You put money in your 401k, and then our job as retirement specialists is to run it through the funnel and get it into this cup so you can enjoy your money without making a mess of it. Now, here's the problem with the financial world. Let's take this now, take the empty cup again. This is where it might get a little messy, Aaron. The financial world says, oh my gosh, don't worry about that. What you need is a lot of money, all right? And really, what we need to do is we want to try to pour this big old thing of water. We're just going to douse you with water. It's like drinking out of a fire hose. So what we're going to try to do to get that money in that cup, why would you do that? Just turn the funnel over. Come on, let's get some growth here, and let's take this, and let's just try to pour it in that little hole. Here we go. Oh, look at there. We got a mess on our hands already. That could have been the stock market crash, or that could have been the fees or taxes, and that's kind of messy, and we're not using the funnel properly. Why? Because really we got greedy is what we got. We wanted all our money now, and we wanted it going through that funnel, and we want to use it. Now what does this have to do with our lottery example? What we're talking about here is this young lady that's won the lottery, she just had money poured into this funnel, and she is not going to be able to handle it anyway. And this is my point to savers. Why are you taking so much risk with your money? As we speak, this show has been recorded on August 29th, 2017. The market is at all-time highs. It is at all-time highs. And many of you are actually putting more and more money at risk. You're not wanting to take any winnings off the table, and this is very, very dangerous. I saw this in 2008. I warned people, hey, I don't know what the market's going to do, but all I know, when it was up at 14,000, that was the highest it had ever been. And guess what people did? They were like that funnel. Give me more, I can handle it, I need more money. And what I would say is no, keep the funnel here, gradually pour water in, set you up a guaranteed plan where we can take the money out over time, get it into the cup, try not to slosh it out, and enjoy your money. Folks, that's what we do with the Worry-Free Retirement. We get this simplified. It's slow and steady wins the race, and we set up a game plan to systematically get you money for the rest of your life. We don't want it all at once. We want it spread out over time, and that requires a game plan. So let me encourage you, if you'd like to sit down and see how our Worry-Free Retirement can help you worry less about money, no matter whether you have $5,000 or $5 million, it doesn't matter. We want to help people worry less about money. Go to our website at TonyWalkerFinancial.com and click on that Let's Get Started button. Do it now. All right, we got a little bit more time left for the show, and I always want to save some time at the end of our show for what the Bible has to say about money. And you might say, Tony, you're pretty good at making some analogies with the Bible, but you can't tell me God has anything to say about funnels. He doesn't actually say anything specifically about funnels, but we're going to talk about something Jesus said that's going to be very, very, very piercing to the ear. You're going to want to hear this, whether you have a little or a lot. I think this is going to help you, but first, I got to get rid of this water. I got to get me a cup of coffee. I'll be right back. Because of recent government regulations, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce predicts that over 7 million smaller investors may no longer receive the personal service from their advisor that they are accustomed to. I'm fiduciary Tony Walker, and regardless of whether you have $5,000 or $5 million to invest, we are here to serve you. In fact, let's meet soon to talk about our newest investment program utilizing Charles Schwab as your custodian. There is no minimum account size to work with us. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Feel like the financial world is making more money on your money than you are? Tired of working hard to save money only to get 1% in return? Well, I'm Tony Walker, inviting you to meet with me in person to create a safe and simple game plan that includes mailbox money for life. To schedule your no-obligation appointment with me, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. While there, just click on the Let's Get Started button and we'll make that happen at your convenience. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Oh yeah, a good cup of coffee. Hope everything's going well in your world. We are with the WorryFree Retirement. And does the Bible have anything to say about funnels and pouring water in and lottery winners? Not necessarily, but it does have a lot to say about worrying about money, whether you have a little or a lot. Now we're going to turn to Matthew 18:23. Let's go there, Aaron. Matthew 18:23. I'm actually going to read you a few verses. Jesus is talking about the kingdom of heaven. And he gives an example of the kingdom of heaven, he says, is like a king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. As he began the settlement, now we're in verse 24, as he began the settlement, a man who owed him 10,000 bags of gold, that's one translation, that's a lot of money, folks, that's like winning the lottery, was brought to him. So in other words, the king wanted this slave, we'll just call him a slave or servant, who owed him 10,000 bags of gold to what? Pay up. So the master ordered, because he couldn't pay, obviously, nobody could pay that kind of money back then. So the master ordered that he and his wife and his children had to be sold in order to repay this debt that this poor old servant couldn't pay. So in verse 26, it's interesting, the response from the servant is he fell to his knees before the king and he begged him, be patient with me. Some versions say, have mercy on me. He begged and he said, I'll pay you back everything. Now, obviously, the servant could not pay back the master this much money, but he asked for forgiveness, he asked for mercy, and the servant's master took pity on him, and listen to this, here's the real good news, canceled the debt and let him go. So he said, well, Tony, what's the point of that? Well, in this example, we see a man who owed more than he could repay. Let's just assume he was poor, right? Didn't have any money. Remember our verse that Spurgeon quoted, those who have money worry with it, those who have none worry without it. All right, that's what Spurgeon was talking about. But notice the grace of God. God's mercy said, you know what? I'm going to cancel that debt. You're forgiven. Now let's fast forward, Aaron. Let's move on over to Matthew 19:21, just a few verses over. This is where Jesus is talking to a very, very rich young man. And the rich young man says, I've done everything that I'm supposed to do based on the law. What should I do to still get into heaven? And Jesus said, okay, you want to get into heaven? You're going to have to sell all that you have. Remember, now this is a rich man. He probably did have 10,000 bags of gold sitting around. Sell all your possessions and give to the poor, and then you will have treasure in heaven. Then come follow me. So in other words, he's saying, sell all you got, then come follow me. Now, verse 22, when the rich young man heard this, what did he do? He went away sad because he had great wealth. Remember the funnel, folks. Listen closely. Remember the inverted funnel, trying to pour all this money in so you'll have all this money. Look what Jesus says in verse 23. Truly, truly, he says to his disciples, I tell you, it is harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. This is really a great illustration. He says in verse 24, again I tell you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God. So Tony, you ask, what in the world is the moral of this story? And I'm still trying to figure out this whole funnel talk and what you're going through. Folks, it has everything to do with you and your money and the amount of money you have plus the amount of worry that accompanies the amount of money you have. And I think what God's trying to teach us is what Spurgeon says. It doesn't matter, folks. Folks, I meet all kinds of people. I've met people that have very, very little. And I've met people that have a lot. And you know what? God is right. We all worry. We just tend to worry about different things. But here is the real good news. Great news here, folks. Whether you have a little or a lot, God is rich in mercy for those who ask. He will grant to the rich and to the poor a worry-free retirement. How does He do this? Through Christ, who obviously paid the ultimate debt, the ultimate sacrifice that you or I could never pay. So let me ask you something. You're sitting here looking for financial peace, and maybe you say, well, Tony, okay, I get that. I'm worried too much about money. Maybe I'm trying to shovel too much in this funnel, and maybe there's an easier way to do this. Is there? And I would say, absolutely, there's a better way to do this. Basically, here's the story. If you don't have a game plan that includes a steady stream of guaranteed lifetime income you could never outlive, what I like to call mailbox money, maybe you're sitting there worried about the next stock market crash and thinking, man, what happens if my 401k becomes a 201k plan and I'm 65 years of age? Folks, that's not the time to take risk with your money. You need to set up a time to get started. Just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. By the way, it's a brand new website. This is a really cool site. If you want to meet with me in person, just click on the Let's Get Started button. As well, if you scroll down the page, you'll notice that there's an icon for this brand new booklet we have called Mailbox Money for Life. All kinds of stuff you can do. We've got workshops coming up before the end of the year. By the way, keep an eye on the workshops. We haven't scheduled them yet. There's only going to be one more workshop in Bowling Green and Louisville, Kentucky for the remainder of 2017. So keep an eye out for those. If you want to go to our YouTube channel, it's Tony Walker Financial, and if you want to like us on Facebook, check that out. We got a lot of great stuff going on. So again, regardless of whether you have a little or a lot, remember we don't have minimum account sizes to work with. We're happy to try to help you get on the road to worry-free retirement. So again, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com or feel free to call us at 877-499-WALK. That's 877-499-WALK. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Until next week, you be sure to tune in. And if all else fails between now and then, you remember to be worry-free. You make it a good day.
Thank you for watching the Worry-Free Retirement with Tony Walker. If you need a safe and simple game plan for your retirement, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and schedule a free, no-obligation meeting with Tony.